a spacecraft is already on its way to Mars. The engines are silent now. The launch is over. Earth is shrinking behind it. Mars remains ahead. Phobos 1, a Soviet spacecraft built to explore the Martian moon Phobos, is moving through deep space exactly as intended. Every few hours, signals arrive. Telemetry flows back to Earth. Temperatures are stable. Systems respond. Nothing in the spacecraft's behavior suggests danger. If there is a threat, it seems distant. After all, Mars is still months away. The spacecraft continues its cruise through darkness, carrying instruments, software, and a destination. Routine operation becomes the baseline. Every successful transmission reinforces the same belief. The difficult part lies ahead. Not here. Not now. And that assumption survives long enough to become dangerous. Far from Earth, spacecraft do not make decisions alone. Commands travel outward across millions of miles. Adjustments, updates, corrections. Tiny instructions transmitted from Earth and executed automatically once they arrive. This relationship is fundamental. The spacecraft survives because it obeys. One day, another command sequence is prepared and transmitted. Nothing about the transmission announces itself as extraordinary. No explosion follows. No alarm appears in space. No visible change occurs. The command leaves Earth, crosses the growing distance, reaches the spacecraft, and is accepted. Phobos 1 does exactly what it was designed to do. It obeys. Then the spacecraft continues flying toward Mars. The sun still illuminates its solar panels. The radio still points through space. The destination remains unchanged. From a distance, routine operation appears intact. Yet something important has already changed. Not visibly, not immediately, only invisibly. And because nothing obvious happens, there is no dramatic moment for anyone to notice. The spacecraft keeps moving. Mars keeps waiting. Then an expected communication window arrives. And nothing arrives with it. The antennas on Earth listen. The spacecraft remains silent. A missed communication session is not automatically a catastrophe. Space missions occasionally lose contact. Equipment can glitch. Signals can weaken. Timing can slip. For a while, the simplest explanation feels reasonable. Perhaps this is a temporary communication problem. Perhaps the spacecraft is still operating normally. Perhaps the signal will return. The silence itself becomes the central fact. No images. No telemetry. No confirmation. Just empty listening. The spacecraft is still somewhere between Earth and Mars. The question is whether it is alive. As engineers reconstruct events, the timing begins to matter. The silence did not appear after a collision, not after a solar storm, not after some external event deep in space. The timeline keeps pointing backward, toward the command upload, toward that ordinary transmission that produced no visible reaction when it arrived. The explanation that once seemed sufficient starts to weaken. If this is only a communication failure, why does the timing fit so neatly? Why does the disappearance begin after the spacecraft receives instructions? The silence remains, but its meaning changes. Attention shifts away from the radio link and towards something more fundamental. Because communication is not the first requirement for survival. Orientation is. A spacecraft in deep space must know how to position itself. Its solar panels need sunlight. Its systems need power. Its relationship with the sun is not decorative. It is life support. Imagine a vessel crossing an ocean while depending entirely on wind entering a specific sail. The sail does not have to be damaged to become useless. It only needs to face the wrong direction. Phobos 1 carried systems intended to maintain that relationship with the sun. The spacecraft's survival depended on preserving its ability to orient itself correctly. And that dependency had been hidden inside normal operation all along. Everything looked routine because the dependency remained intact. Until it didn't. The command transmitted from Earth appears to have interfered with protections connected to attitude control, the systems responsible for orientation. The exact technical details have been debated and described differently over the years. What matters is the consequence. A trusted command pathway removed a condition the spacecraft needed in order to protect itself. The machine followed instructions. The machine obeyed correctly. And in doing so, it became less capable of surviving. The contradiction sits at the center of the story. Nothing failed in the traditional sense. No component shattered. No meteor struck. No engine exploded. Authority itself became the vulnerability. Now the visual picture changes. Far from Earth, a spacecraft drifts through sunlight. Its solar panels are no longer guaranteed to remain favorably aligned. Power becomes uncertain. Every passing hour threatens the condition required to keep the spacecraft alive. The problem is no longer the missing signal. The missing signal is only evidence. The real danger is the gradual disappearance of the spacecraft's ability to maintain itself. And unlike a mistake made on Earth, this one cannot simply be recalled. Commands travel one direction at the speed of light. Distance creates delay. The spacecraft cannot be reached instantly. Even if the problem is recognized, the original instruction has already arrived. Already executed. Already woven into the machine's behavior. The opportunity to prevent the consequence existed earlier than anyone could see. As time passes, the remaining possibilities begin to narrow. Recovery depends on contact. Contact depends on a functioning spacecraft. A functioning spacecraft depends on power. Power depends on orientation. Orientation depends on the very capability that may have been compromised. Each requirement rests on another. One hidden dependency after another. And when the chain breaks near its foundation, everything above it becomes fragile. Mars continues orbiting ahead. The destination has not disappeared. The mission's goal still exists. The the spacecraft simply becomes less able to reach it. Eventually, Phobos 1 never arrives as intended. The mission is lost. Not because space destroyed it. Not because Mars was difficult to reach. Not because an unforeseen cosmic hazard intervened. The fatal event occurred much earlier. Return to the image from the beginning. A spacecraft moving confidently toward Mars. Signals arriving. Systems operating. Nothing visibly wrong. That image looks different now. What appeared to be a healthy Mars-bound explorer was actually a machine surviving through a fragile dependency that nobody could see from the outside. Somewhere between Earth and Mars, a small command crossed the darkness. The spacecraft accepted it. Mars remained ahead. The sun still shone. And a mission that seemed alive was already losing the condition it needed to stay that way. Phobos 1 was not destroyed by impact, explosion, or the emptiness of space. It was destroyed by the authority granted to a single instruction: